welcome back. When it gets past Memorial Day weekend, it's kind of that unofficial start of summer. And when the summer starts unofficially, well, I guess as Jim is going to let you know in a minute, there's a lot of things, a lot of pests, a lot of little animals and insects you might not like that come with summer. Well, Jim, welcome back. Yeah, I haven't actually seen you for a while.
I understand that. Sorry, we have been busy beyond busy. Like Sean was talking about, the market is just absolutely zooming, and I've been working 7 days a week, kind of 16 hours a day lately.
So you're seeing because you're a lagging indicator of the real estate market. I mean, when you're real busy, that means the real estate market is busy.
Oh, no question about it, and it's beyond busy. When I get people calling me and saying I need an inspection tomorrow for a pre-listing or pre-purchase inspection, it's just not going to happen.
So you are starting to see that too.
Oh, I see a lot of that.
As Sean was talking about.
I turn them down all the time, unfortunately. The good inspectors are busy and booked out minimum 3 to 7 days out.
So that's really something that people have to think about when they're putting an offer on a house, because I know in the past, oftentimes the contract might be like, oh, we have a week for inspection or 10 days for inspection. Now you can't necessarily dial that in and make it happen that fast.
Well, that's really true, and it was something that I wanted to talk about because you guys were kind of into that. And what I'm seeing is people are passing on inspections again, which was kind of something back in the 2005, 2006 market.
It's crazy to me.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. People are not following through with what the inspections recommend. I just had a unhappy client actually yesterday that called me, and I had made some very, very strong recommendations to get further inspections on some areas and stuff. Well, they didn't bother to do it, and now that they've been there for a few months and they opened it up, all kinds of rot that I had forecasted said it was definitely going to be there, and we're talking, $5,000-$10,000 repair, and they're thinking, well, we thought we could do it for $500. Well, you know what? That's why I said recommend further inspection and, diagnostics and repairs by a licensed contractor before closing. Okay. When an inspector recommends that strongly, like I did with major defects, it's time to get a look at it.
It would make sense. If you think you might have rot in the house you're going to buy, you might want to know about it. I don't know. I'm going to just throw it out there.
Well, and the terrible thing about this house is that was the least of the areas that I was concerned about, but it was still a major area. So
are they listening today?
I hope not. No, they might be, but it was very, very clear in the report.
Well, that's why you listened. I mean, the premise of the show is finding really good people that you should be able to listen to. And so many people might take your advice, my advice, could take Sean's advice, anybody in any of our industries, and they don't see past the words. It's sometimes that people will miss the meaning. Like, yes, this is a great loan program for you. I totally understand, but that guy's $50 cheaper. Or, I should get further inspections. Yes, but that's going to cost more money. And then when they don't listen, it's tough to feel sympathy.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is one way you can really tell a realtor that cares about you, when they go to the effort to get the additional inspections, because you can file for an extension, get an extra 5 days on your contract, get the contractor out there, and they make the effort for you. Okay, they typically will do that, the good realtors. Okay, the ones that say, oh, we don't need to do that, those are the ones that are looking for the money right out of the chute. And you want somebody that's going to care about you and your decisions.
Absolutely, and be there for the long haul of the relationship. Here's something you don't want a relationship with: rats and moles and carpenter ants.
I had kind of sent you this, that I was going to talk about this stuff today, and I sent it to you, I think, 3 or 4 days ago. Yesterday, I pull up to a house that I'm supposed to inspect, and I'm standing outside for about 15 minutes, and I see 2 very large rats run into the roof jack vents into the attic of the house that I'm supposed to go and inspect. And I kind of make a comment about it, and there was a neighbor on the other side of the alley that heard me. He says, the whole place is infested. He says, don't go down in the crawl space. Don't go in the attic. It's totally infested. The people there are renters. They've got dogs and leave the doors open all the time. And so I told the people then I would not do the inspection at that time. Okay, we already know what the problem is, and most of it, I'm not going to go into those areas. Didn't want to take their money for nothing, and it was time for them
or get bitten by a rat.
Well, that too, and that's something that you definitely need to know. Do not stick your hand in rat holes, okay, if you're thinking, because they will be very, very vicious to protect their nest and stuff.
Do people stick their hands in rat holes, Jim?
Well, they can, but I get asked.
I mean, I just want to know if you've actually heard of somebody doing that.
You know what? I get asked all the time when I'm down in a crawl space, and I tell people, I said, well, there's lots of rodent droppings down there. And they say, well, are they fresh? And I always tell them, no, I don't know. I didn't taste them. but I will tell you this. I've been doing a little bit of research on that for today, and they are shiny, soft, and chewy. If you so choose, then they're fresh, okay? If they're crispy, hard, and dry, they're stale and they're old, okay? So anyway, some of the things that really bring the rodents, and it was just crazy watching, because the rodents were just climbing up this tree that was right next to the house, comes up hanging over the roof, and that's one of the biggest problems that we have is people planting trees too close to the house, not keeping them pruned back. And my house, of course, is absolute perfection. The first day, it has kind of fallen since, but I did do some real planning. When I planted my shrubs and stuff, I did do the research to find out what's the maximum they grow, okay? And planted things so I could actually have a 2 to 3 foot walkway around my house at all times, okay, that they would never grow into the house. And that's imperative in terms of keeping pests out of your house.
What are some of the other pests that come out here as we start getting into summer? I was telling you a story, we had a tick on our dog that we had to pull off. And, they're funky looking little creatures, but there's other pests out there.
Ticks, it's interesting. I hadn't really experienced them here in Western Washington, a lot in Eastern Washington, but they're ugly. Moles are definitely a big thing in terms of people's yards these days. And if you think about it, moles, just watch Groundhog Day with Bill Murray if you want to know all the different ways that it's not going to work, okay? Smoking doesn't work.
You're thinking Caddyshack.
Oh, Caddyshack. Yeah. That's right. Thank you.
There's Groundhog Day is the one where he tries to get the girl. You can see all the different ways it doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So anyway, Caddyshack, yes, that's the one. But the water down, trying to drown them, that's not going to work. Trying to smoke them out, it's not going to work.
Sticking your hand down there, not a good idea.
I don't think that it really matters with your hands down there because they have really good smellers. And poisonous baits don't work because they don't have lower incisors, so they can't chew. Okay, so I don't know if they'd bite you or not. Oh. But what they're looking for is they're looking for worms, and they're looking for grummets, which are just kind of little bugs. A mole is about a third of a pound, and they'll eat 45 to 50 pounds of bugs a year. There are only 2 ways that I know of actually only one way that I know of, and it's illegal in this state, is trapping them to get rid of them. And that's the only way that I've ever seen that's effective. But everything else is a great way to make money.
So moles, other rodents, like I said, we had to have somebody come out because we had wasps in our roof line, which after doing a little bit of research is actually extremely common. They love roofs.
Well, wasps they're all over the place, and the easiest thing to do really with them is just have a can of wasp hornet spray. It'll actually spray about 20 feet, and you just need to wait till the evening, to the dusk hours, till they all get back into their nest, and hose them down. I actually got into an attic one time, and I kept hearing this buzzing, and I thought, well, what is that noise? And got a little bit down the way of the attic, and I realized that there was a wasp nest, and it was almost the size of my truck bed.
Now, let's make a quick note here. Wasps can actually kill you.
Yes, they can.
So climbing up on your roof to spray them may not be the best idea unless you're wearing lots of protection on your body. I read this when I almost decided to do that myself, and I read about people who had actually been killed by wasps, and I decided that is not what I do.
Well, that's why the cans are designed to spray 20 feet. And you spray it from the ground, okay? And you also wait.
And be ready to run.
And be ready to run. But if you wait until the evening, when they're back in their nests and stuff, you're going to have the major advantage, okay? But if you run into something big, it's time to call a professional. If you run into rats that you're seeing during the daytime, okay, you have a large infestation. It's time to call a professional. If you got moles all over your manicured lawn and aren't having any luck, it's time to call a professional. So that's really the key, is getting a professional.
We're here with Jim Estrada, owner and lead inspector of Property Inspector LLC. Jim, just a couple real quick notes before we go to break. There are also some, protecting your house, the actual home. I mean, bees sting you, wasps sting you. But there are some pests that will start to destroy your house, aren't there?
Well, there are lots of those, and we're going to talk about that in the next show. Carpenter ants. We've got termites of all kinds, subterranean termites. We've got beetles. And a lot of these things actually you bring into the house. Really, the worst pest for a home is the Homo sapien, okay, the people that live there, because we bring them in, and we also bring the foods and throw the foods out and have the piles out in the yard that attract the rodents, that attract the moles. We overwater our lawns, and we're really the reason for all of the pests that happen.
Because it's just so we're creatures of comfort. Pests like heat and if you're a rat and it's cold outside, where are you going to go?
Well, exactly. And if you like hot dogs, where are you going to go?
I'm going to go to that garbage can where the people eat hot dogs.
Or Costco.
There you go, for $1.50. Good call, Jim. Well, thanks so much for. Hey, actually, speaking of Costco, in like 3 days you can go get your liquor real cheap. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah, Walmart too.
Yeah, hey. That is Jim Estrada, owner of Property Inspector LLC. Thanks so much for joining us, and stick around till the end of the show. I'd love to get a little bit more from you. Coming up next, some of the people who don't take people for a ride are the top charities and the top people who run those charities. You're going to hear about a huge event coming up this Saturday presented by the Seattle Seahawks when we come back. You're listening to Brashenomics.